Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetwork. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is episode 474. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Aydan Quinn. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me.
Now the honor's all mine for people who want to know what my talk show is about. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. To never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels cannot dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And to prove to them you can break the labels. So that being said, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, then we can work our way up. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
About myself. Well, I'm an actor in Chicago. I recently moved here back here in January, and I found a place, in March. And I've been taking improv classes at the IO, and next week I am going to be starting the Renaissance Fair circuit, and that's basically traveling around the country working at Renaissance fairs.
Yeah, nice. What got you interested in that?
I would say my love of fantasy and geek culture, it kind of led me there. I started working in a booth at Native Earth selling Renaissance fair shoes. And then that progressed to working the lanes and being an unseelie fae character. Just playing with people.
So in that case, you're more like into the whole RPG role players, right?
In a sense, yeah.
You probably got to think it's funny. I actually, when MySpace was a big thing, I thought RP meant real person. I'm like, oh cool, I'm talking to the real person because it says RP. And then I realized RP is role player. I'm like, why is there a role player for this person? It's not a video game.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like you could. I don't know. For like role playing, like you could actually say that's like role playing in real life. Like you're basically trying to present yourself in a way that society accepts. So you're basically role-playing that character. So that's how I figure out how to weave around that.
Alright. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, what were some of your favorite sports growing up? And were you a study nerd or party animal?
Favorite sports growing up. I enjoyed martial arts. And that's like a mixture between karate and then a little bit of Muay Thai in the high school area. Then track and field, mostly shot-putted discus. For a brief time, I did softball. That didn't work out so well. And then a little bit of basketball. I don't know. Something that I didn't do that I was interested in was fencing, but that interwove into stage combat stuff. Yeah.
Now, for track, did you ever wanted to become a pro, or was there any times where you caused any pile-ups? Bloopers?
I don't know about becoming a pro. I was just just enjoyed throwing the discus. So just seeing how far I could throw that, and I could never master the fancy spinning motion that you see in the Olympic players do. Yeah.
Alright. And what about, did you mention if you were a study nerd or party animal? When you went to college, were you a study nerd or party animal?
Oh, jeez. I was a study nerd, and if I went out and partied, it was literally with a couple of friends, and we watched Netflix, or we played board games. So that's me being a party animal.
Now, my last two easy questions for you is, what did you major in? And also, did you ever get the chance to do one of those human impairments, or not into the whole human impairment thing?
My major was in theater for acting, and you asked about impairments?
Yeah.
Or, like if I have one, or if I...
Ever done one?
If I ever what? Sorry.
Oh, ever done one?
I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat that? It's the breaking up a little bit. It's like
No, it's fine. It's like, have you ever done one of those, the pyramid things?
an impairment. If I've ever dealt with someone, or if I have one,
No.
an impairment thing?
Ever done one?
Ever done an impairment thing? I don't believe I have. I was in a museum and I experienced what it would be like to be blind, but that's mainly the only impairment thing I've ever have been like a part of.
Yeah.
So
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
it's okay. It's cool.
Now, my next question is, when you took acting in college, is that when you made up your mind that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life? Or did you see something on TV that says this is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I feel like it was before college when I picked out that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Well, like when I was growing up, I was in love with this TV show called Xena, and I realized like this person is basically doing what I want to do, and seems to really enjoy this process that she's doing, minus the stunt work. But it just seemed like a whole lot of fun in that you can actually get paid and inspire people to ride around on a horse and play with swords.
No, absolutely. I was like the same way in Power Rangers. I was a big Power Ranger fan, and I always thought it was cool how they wore the costumes. But and then they would do the fighting and the flipping. Then I found out that they never actually did any of that. They just said, "Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm wearing blue. I'm the Blue Ranger. Zordon, what do you want us to do today? Okay, cut. Oh, I gotta be in my dressing room. Bye." Yeah, but like, it's like, what the? You just completely ruined it for me.
Oh.
So basically, they had stunt doubles doing the flips. Apparently, they weren't really. Even though they said they're martial artists, so you can do your own damn flips, but they didn't do it. And there's other scenes where, so basically you're dressing up and you're just doing voiceovers. I can do that, and I have a learning disability. It's kind of like the whole nostalgia is saying, "Oh, there's a putty in the room. Oh, there's a buzzer. Ah," and then you're like, "Yeah, it's all fake." I was like, "Oh, okay. Thank you for ruining my childhood for me."
Oh.
But with that being said, you did. I don't mind me, pardon my disability. You did mention you're a martial artist. Did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers influence that, or how did that come about?
I don't know. I think it was mostly Xena, and I have seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm personally not a martial artist. I haven't been able to take classes yet about that. I'm trying to figure out what style. Because there's so many styles. and I don't know, like just anything with fighting and martial arts stuff, like I've been drawn to. So like I don't know, like I don't know, like normally like me and my friends would just go into the field and have like foam swords and just attack each other very badly because it's not all pretty and choreographed and whatnot. It's just two people with foam swords in a field.
Well, I tell you what, you can probably do little wraps around me.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is a new subject that just came up. I was thinking about it last night because I'm going to be unemployed because the store's going out of business. How do you feel about Toys R Us going out?
I like. I'm not happy that there's going to be a lot of people being put out of work.
Yeah.
And stuff. And on the flip side, I feel like there should be something to take its place dealing with toys and probably have like more local toy shop store things. Like more like Terra Toys. It's in Austin, Texas. And with like in that store, it's more, I don't know, it seems to me like what a toy store is. Like there's like different types of toys that you normally don't see and more small, weird-ass non-corporate toys.
Yeah.
And it has this vibe of like, we're a toy shop. And then like with Toys R Us, I got this weird cold vibe going into it, and it seemed like you can look at the toys, but you can't play with the toys. So maybe if there was like more initiatives or like more like local stuff, and then hire the people that were from the Toys R Us to like fill those jobs or whatnot. So to create the whole supporting people with the disabilities and the people who are out of work, etc. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And, it's funny. People are making fun of the commercials all over it. People doing their own family parody. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. And then it kind of cut to the store calls. Well, you have to grow up now, so suck it up.
Ugh. Ugh.
But it's depressing because, I bet you went to Toys R Us when you were younger. We're about the same age. And going to Toys R Us, for my birthday, for a good report card, or just for anything, it's there. It's, working there are some people that, they're kind of questionable, but there has to be something to replace it. There's a toy store in Rockland, New York, and I'm kind of hoping they get their act together and they can replace them. But I'm guilty of this because I am an online shopper. But I give you an example. What I mean, like if you go into a store, I like to see this and hold it and see what it's made of, so it's not like a piece of shit or something. But it's fun. You get to go in a store. It's human interaction. You get to be socialized, not like a caveman, or me push button, and then you're like a hermit. But then there's other things like, okay, you shop on Amazon. Okay, I need a new phone case, or I don't know why you would buy pens online. My pens died. I need to buy pens, or there's an audiobook. Big whoop, you can't actually pick up an audiobook and look at it because, it's audio. There's certain things online that's fine, but if you gotta have, every single little thing like food and, whatever, things you can think of, it's kind of like you're taking away that human interaction. And then when you go meet someone in real life, like, for us, this is a good icebreaker. Because I like this. This is not scripted. This is real. Mm-hmm. And so when we meet, we're gonna hit it off right because we did the icebreaker. And so that's human interaction. It's not kind of like, oh, I paid you for your time. It's like, okay, see you later. It's not like one of those things. But I don't know. I think I agree with my parents. I didn't agree in the beginning. The worst thing ever invented was the internet. But at the same time, you do get a lot of good things. But it's kind of like with everything. You get a lot of good and bad.
True.
But what is your honest opinion? Do you like going into a store, or do you just like one click button and then you're done?
It honestly depends on the store, and it depends on how many people are in that store, because I'm not a big fan of when like the stores are packed.
Yeah.
And like if I could, like for the stuff on the internet, if I normally can't find it in stores, I would get it on the internet. So I'm more like, I like both aspects of internet and going in. So like I strive to get that human interaction, but not too much interaction, if that makes sense. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I definitely see like the push towards like putting most of the work on the consumer, with just buying, and like if you need help with like a problem with the issue, you have to know their lingo mostly to weave around that, and that's just way too much time and unnecessary time that you don't need to do if there's someone there to help you. And yeah, and I don't know, like there are just some stores that like treat people horribly, and so I'm kind of happy that that's like fading away, but at the same time nothing's being replaced, and there's no improvements of making the issue better, or it's just more like, oh, we're gonna save this money and just cut this job out. That's not a good idea. That's gonna definitely fall flat on their faces completely.
They're saying they're gonna close older stores in toy. I'm gonna talk to you about Toys R Us real fast. We know another subject.
Yeah.
And it's like we're closing 800 stores in the U.S., but we're keeping ones internationally. How about you close the international ones, and you have certain ones, like, okay, one in New Jersey, one in New York, one in every major city. And that's fine, but you gotta close everything and then leave the international ones open. It's kind of like it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't really matter, but but the next question I was gonna ask you is social media. Do you think social media can make you or break you? And with everything you accomplish in your career, do you think it influences for people to work with you, or do you think it helps?
I think it influences and helps, because the many producers and directors are looking for how many social media likes and followers you have, and that's more for marketing reasons. See if you have a fan base and see if they could use your fans to market their stuff for free. And I know it kind of makes the whole acting thing a little harder on my end, I feel like, just because I feel like it's another hoop and a long list of hoops that need to be jumped across. But it is important to like reach out to people and to put yourself out there, and because I guess everyone is different, but then again at the same time everyone is the same. If I'm not exactly sure if I should what do you call it? Go into that more, or if that was clear.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm second guessing myself right now.
No, you're doing perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. I have a great message. I'm turning myself into an example. but at the same time, I really don't have a fan following. So, what is your honest opinion? Do you think it's okay? I'll give you an example. Mr. Kitty right here has 10,000 people, but it doesn't do a damn thing. And then you compare Mr. Kitty to me, where you have a great message, and you only have like, I don't know, 900 people following you. So it's kind of like, do you go with the message, saying, okay, yes, he's turning himself into an example, but yet people would, actually flock to Mr. Kid, this golden cat, because it has millions of people, don't ask me why, but it does, has millions of people behind it. Do you think it kind of demoralizes what you're doing, if that makes any sense?
I could see how that could be incredibly off-putting. But at the same time, you have a core group of 500 people that are following you. You have tapped into a solid group that are following me, that are listening to the message, and that are spreading your message, trying to gather all the other followers and whatnot. And that's the important thing. Like, there are fad things that will have like 10,000 followers and whatnot, but those will come and go. Like, if you have a consistent fan base and you're reaching out and doing all what you're supposed to, connecting and putting yourself out there and doing all that marketing stuff, overall, it is a good thing. I know. There's a book called The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, if you've heard of that.
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. It's a really good book about, like, basically what you're talking about, like networking and like fundraising and etc. And it's more or less finding your niche and having that niche support you and like grow, so you can spread the net, as what she calls it, and to like tie in that net so everyone is more like a family and supports each other. And yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, one, have you ever worked with people with disabilities besides me? And what do you think is next for your acting career?
Next, so I in summer camp, I was a counselor, and it was for people who had cerebral palsy. And so I was taking care of their daily needs. And then there was a kids camp, and not everyone had cerebral palsy, but they had some sort of disability, besides one kid. And so that was an interesting and admirable experience. It was fun, meeting a lot of people and interacting with them. I don't know about the night shifts. Those were a bit rough. And what's next for my acting career? I'm focusing on getting my SAG card and finding ways around and trying to get that. And so trying to that's basically it, just getting my SAG card. Yeah.
What about, have you ever done any voiceovers, or would you be interested in doing voiceovers?
Sure. I've never really done a voiceover, but I'm open to it.
I do a lot of fan-made parodies just for fun, if you're interested. Basically, I'm a big fan of Dumbo and Jungle Book, so I would just give you a couple lines for the video, and you would repeat them, and you're basically putting your own spin on it, saying basically, okay, if I was doing the part, this is how I would do it. And you're just doing it for fun, if you're ever interested.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and what's the last 12 minutes left of the show. I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can ask me anything you like.
Okay.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Lydia and Camille Dixon.
Emma Dates Fordham.
My name is Linda Presson, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Papick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Morris Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldner.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew on what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 474. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Ms. Quinn. I just want to say thank you for putting up with me and being a guest on my talk show. Now, with the last 12 minutes and counting, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to talk about, promote? This is your time. It's whatever you want to do.
Oh, my. I guess I'll just ask questions. Why not? So, what drew you the most into Power Rangers?
That's a good question. I guess the whole different I like the superhero aspect, and I like the different colors. Also, it was just pretty much like a different superhero show. But there's not really anything that says, oh, this is what I like about it. It's because I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was like, oh, they're wearing different colors. They get to do the Megazord. That's so cool. But it's, when you're a kid, you like colorful things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you like all of them collectively, or was there one character that you specifically latched onto?
Now or then. Like, then, I would say, when I was younger, it was me, my 2 friends, school acquaintances. I don't really have friends. Our school acquaintances always fought over being the Green Ranger. Mm-hmm. I guess the Green Ranger, Tommy or Jason David Frank was pretty cool. But now that I'm looking back, I actually like the Yellow Ranger the most, Trini. You see, out of all of them, he had a lot of potential at doing a lot of great things. And I never got the chance to meet her. Unfortunately, she passed away. But looking back, she was actually one of my favorites.
Oh, that's cool.
What about you? Who were one of your favorites?
My favorites would be the Green Ranger. And when I was growing up, I guess it would be the Pink Ranger I liked a lot. And yeah, I basically was my Halloween costumes were the Pink Ranger morphed into another character. So yeah, like I was the Pink Ranger in Snow White. So I had a Snow White outfit, and then I had like the Pink Ranger gloves and a Pink Ranger helmet.
Yeah, that's a good idea. They do a lot of fan-made crossovers of Disney characters being Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a video, if you look it up, it's called TV Shows as Power Rangers. And there's like a Days of Future Past. I have no idea what that is. Just popped in my head. But actually, Days of Future Past is an X-Men episode. But there's like DC Legends of Tomorrow. There has like certain people, like Captain Cold would be a Power Ranger. Smallville, Flash, Green Arrow, they would have their own introductions. Back to the Future, how they had Marty McFly as a Power Ranger. It's really cool how our Jurassic Park, they have Dr. Grant as a Power Ranger. So it's really cool. I have to find out. So, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
But while on the subject, some of my favorite seasons were, hands down, Season 1. That was the best. Parts of season 2, I didn't really care for the cast, but traded over when they left. It should have been the same cast members. You know, some were okay, some were just like,
Yeah.
You know, don't really care. Turbo sucked. It was really bad.
Oh.
Zeo had its moments. In Space was really good because it actually had a story to it. Lost Galaxy was kind of like, what's the point? Because they're trying to do like Star Trek, and Voyager was a big thing at it, so it's like, oh well, people liked Voyager, why not make a Power Ranger Voyager episode? Then I kind of lost interest, and I got back into Dino Thunder because Jason David Frank came back. So, oh cool, Tommy's here. Then that's how I got into it. And then Power Rangers. I interviewed the guy, Ron Reiserman. He did the music for Power Rangers for a couple seasons. And I joked to him and said, you did the song for Power Rangers SPD. But if you listen to it, at the very end, it says Power Rangers STDs. And I said, was that like a blooper that you accidentally slurred? And he just left it in? And it's like, yeah, maybe. I made the T sound like a D, so yeah, Power Rangers STDs. But if you listen to it, it's really funny. It's still a good song, but it's a tiny little part at the end. It's kind of like, did he say what I'm thinking he just saying? But, Power Rangers, they had their good seasons. They had some bad seasons. But while on the subject, who were some of your favorite villains? And who did you want to be if you had the chance?
Oh, I'm mainly more like it was just, I mainly saw like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then it went off to, I don't even know, it was the chick with the red mask and the long hair and the heels. I don't know which version that was. But that's when I stopped.
Oh, you mean the gold mask, right?
Yeah, the mask.
Oh, Diva Talks. Yeah, that was terrible. That was a piece of shit.
Okay. Yeah, I did like Ooze when that came out. Being drawn towards, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I liked the evil Green Ranger and then the good Green Ranger a lot, and I don't know why he became the White Ranger. But I don't know, like I think I was losing interest when like the White Ranger happened. And it kind of made me a little sad.
Oh, what about, well, sum up real fast and I'll pass the show back over to you.
Okay, no worries.
Is that somebody else was supposed to be the White Ranger. They introduced this new guy, and the new guy was supposed to be the Ranger, but everyone got, we want Tommy, yeah, better bring back Tommy. And it's like, if you don't bring back Tommy, we're gonna boycott. Said, fine, we bring back, I don't know why he's like a big deal or anything. I would have preferred Trini or Jason, over Tommy, But they're okay. They brought back Jason David Frank, as a White Ranger. And he was good. He got obnoxious at times, but he was good. But then they're like, what about the new kid? Well, that was the whole point of introducing him. And they're like, you suck. Let's go with this guy. The fans like him. But it's going back to the social media. If you have the following, they're going to follow you.
Yeah.
Even though that's not really the case, because there were other Rangers out there that did have a following, that they kind of,
yeah.
But my favorite villains, was Lord Zed. I tried to Ron Axel, who did Lord Zed. He was great when he debuted. Unfortunately, it's funny. He was giving the kids nightmares, so the parents were writing into Saban saying, "Yeah, can you tone down Zed? He's giving my kid nightmares." So from being a hardcore villain to being a dummy.
That's why. Now I know why. Ugh!
But my favorite woman villain, hands down, has to be not Divatox. She was alright. I liked Extronema. She was my favorite, hands down.
Cool.
I don't know if you ever saw her in space.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know if you ever saw Power Rangers in space.
In space? No, I didn't see Power Rangers in space.
Well,
Is it on Netflix? I'm probably going to be checking it out afterwards.
Just look up the best of Extronema. She's really funny, you know. There's a part where they, there was a horrible idea, but it was a good idea, but it's horrible at the same time. Because they brought back, Fox Kids brought back Ninja Turtles. And they said, what better idea to have Ninja Turtles back on? That's because they invented the idea of having a female Ninja Turtles. Okay, it sounded good to me. But how can you promote the show? Hey, let's have a crossover. Power Rangers meets Ninja Turtles. Even that was a disaster.
I think I saw a clip on YouTube about it, and it was very confusing. Not surprising, but confusing.
And somehow the Ninja Turtles kind of knew Power Rangers, and Power Rangers knew Ninja Turtles, and they thought one was real and the other was make-believe. But I want the actress that does Divatox, I keep saying Divatox, Extronema on my show. I had a crush on her. There's a scene where Leonardo says, we're not going to listen to you. You're the bad guys. And Extronema rolls her eyes and says, you're going to do what I say because... And then she zaps him. She says she likes being the villain because it's more fun. Yeah. But hands down, I just liked her whole mannerisms. She was really good.
Nice. What crossover with the Power Rangers did you want to see?
Well, there have been a lot of crossovers from the Japanese version, but, you know, I guess they didn't want to spend the money for the American ones. I wanted to see Time Force. Time Force was great, you know, they had a woman leader. I was like, about time. And, you know, not to get on a whole rant, but I thought Time Force had a lot of potential because they could honestly go to the very beginning and reunite the cast from season 1. They could have done that. They could have done Turbo. They could have done in the future. There's a couple episodes where the crossovers would have been like Dino Thunder met SPD. That was really good. Or I think that's SPD and Ninja Storm or Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. But, you know, the crossovers from other TV shows are really good. I liked, are you a fan of Hawaii 5-0? I'm wrapping up on the show. Are you a fan of Hawaii 5-0?
Not really.
A couple good crossovers I would recommend. It's where they had Hawaii 5-0 meets I can't speak. Hawaii 5-0 meets NCIS Los Angeles. That was really cool. I liked how the whole dynamic with it, how Danny from 5-0 was always picking on, can't think of her name, but she's the short woman from Kindergarten Cop.
I see her face. I know who you're talking about.
And she says to Danny, you would be a great detective if you weren't Eli's ass. See, that's the crossovers like that makes it really funny. And there's some other times where you have crossovers and like, this is freaking terrible, and you can't get past it the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, one of my wrapping up, did you ever see Spider-Man and the X-Men? It's where they had the 1995 Spider-Man. Basically, he's turning into the Man-Spider. And I can show you the episode clip. But basically, for the highlight is, he's turning into the Man-Spider, so he has more arms sticking out his side, and he goes to Professor X because he's a mutant, but he knows how to help people. Long story short, he teams up with Wolverine, and there's the best part where Spider-Man takes on the Sentinels. I thought that was really cool. And it's like, yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked by a 12-story robot.
I haven't seen that one.
I will definitely send it to you right after.
Okay.
Some of the crossovers are really good. And, I actually interviewed for my demo years some of the cast members from The Amazing Spider-Man. Some are really nice. Some, they're kind of like, it was a one-hit wonder. I interviewed a guy who did, what was his name? Rodney. He worked for JJ. I interviewed Sarah Valentine. She did not want to do a video interview, unfortunately. But hopefully she changes her mind. She did Mary Jane. But it's kind of like, I don't know, voiceover actors are kind of funny. It's like, yeah, I want to be voiceovers because I don't want to be seen. But I'm so like, but you do Comic-Con, and you're being seen, and you're doing interviews. So it's kind of like, what's the point? You can't have it both ways, but anyway. But I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up our interview segment, I'm going to ask you the last two hard-hitting questions that I asked everyone. First one is, it's not really hard-hitting, but are you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Stage 32? Are you on any of those fun stuff?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat.
I heard of Snapchat, but I never really used it that much.
Oh. It's a lot of randomness, and I call it like a moving Dadaist art thing going on, and I don't know, I enjoy it a lot.
Alright. I've said, I tried Pinterest, and I kind of lost interest. And Instagram, I use it, and now I found a way where you can put videos on it, so, I like it more. But before, it's just random pictures. But, for me, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Stage 32. I kind of lost interest in it. But, I am there. Pinterest is kind of like, I post things. Tumblr, I post things, but I'm not really on there. But for me, I have to have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and sometimes Instagram. But it's a give or take. But my last question for you, wrapping up our interview segment, is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction, and what made you say yes?
I was confused, because this is the first time someone who has a podcast came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast?" And so I was a little hesitant at first. I did check out your website and whatnot to make sure that you are a real thing.
Thank you.
just to because it literally came out of the blue. And you seemed like a really nice person, and you had a message that seemed like a good message to support and to branch out and whatnot, and it seemed like a good idea, so.
And how do you feel afterwards?
I feel good. This is awesome. What you're doing is awesome. Please continue.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Okay, yes, thank you.